John Calvin on Psalm 116, verses 12 through 19. What shall I render unto the Lord for all his benefits toward me? I will take up the cup of salvation, and call upon the name of the Lord. I will pay my vows unto the Lord, now in the presence of all his people. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. O Lord, truly I am thy servant. I am thy servant and the son of thine handmaid. Thou hast loosed my bonds. I will offer to thee the sacrifice of thanksgiving, and will call upon the name of the Lord. I will pay my vows unto the Lord now in the presence of all his people, in the courts of the Lord's house, in the midst of thee, O Jerusalem. Praise ye the Lord. How can I repay the Lord for all his goodness to me? After confessing his having nothing to offer to God as a sufficient compensation for his benefits, David at the same time adds in confirmation of it that he was laid under such obligations, not by one series of benefits only, but by a variety of innumerable benefits. Quote, "There is no benefit on account of which God has not made me a debtor to him. How should I have means of repaying him for them?" Unquote. All recompense failing him, he has recourse to an expression of thanksgiving as the only return which he knows will be acceptable to God. David's example in this instance teaches us not to treat God's benefits lightly or carelessly, for if we estimate them according to their value, the very thought of them ought to fill us with admiration. There is not one of us who has not God's benefits heaped upon us, but our pride, which carries us away into extravagant theories, causes us to forget this very doctrine, which ought nevertheless to engage our unremitting attention. And God's bounty towards us merits the more praise, that he expects no recompense from us, nor can receive any, for he stands in need of nothing, and we are poor and destitute of all things. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. When we are in danger and God apparently overlooks us, we then consider ourselves to be condemned as poor slaves, and that our life is regarded as a thing of naught. And we are aware that when the wicked perceive that we have no protection, they wax the more bold against us, as if God took no notice either of our life or death. In opposition to their erroneous doctrine, David introduces this sentiment, that God does not hold his servants in so little estimation as to expose them to death casually. We may indeed for a time be subjected to all the vicissitudes of fortune and of the world. We will nevertheless always have this consolation, that God will, eventually, openly manifest how dear our souls are to him.